Hey everyone, looks like we are live. It's so great to see everyone. Hope everyone is having a great time today. So I'm very happy that you guys are here. This is the second live stream of the year, and I want to continue doing these live streams again for you amazing people out there. So let's see who we have here today. We have Mr. Jesus, how are you, sir? Great to see you. How's everything? How are you feeling, sir? All the way from Atlanta. So how are you? And we have Colette. How you doing? All the way from the Atlanta area as well. We have Astral from the UK. Great to see you, sir. And we have that's everyone just yet. So, and Patty, how are you, Patty? JC, always a pleasure. Feels like Chicago. Yeah, you guys are getting some cold weather, aren't you? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, and Colette, I know you're getting some cold weather over there in Illinois. We're getting cold, but it's gonna get colder in the next week or so. Kyle, how are you? Where are you? Someone says hi, Kyle. I don't see. Oh, there you are, Kyle. How you doing? All the way from Pennsylvania. So great to see you. So we're going to revisit this painting here that I've been working on, this oil painting, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And so I'm going to switch off from oil paints to acrylic to airbrush, to pastel. I'm going to keep you guys, keep a nice variety for you all. And pretty much whatever I'm working on, I'm going to be doing this. So this is a painting that I started a while ago, and I'm working that in right now. Decided to pick it up. I was working in oils today. I was teaching an oil painting class, so I said, well, my palette's out. Might as well. Hey, I think that's Wendy, right? The song Well. How are you? Good to see you, Wendy. What a pleasure. Mr. Tone, how are you? Great to see you, Tone. Always a pleasure out of Queens. And Wendy is out of Texas, the Dallas area. And so what a great group we have here already. So fantastic. Great to see Tone. Really love the Bruce Lee painting. That was really great. Love it. Oh, in Brooklyn now. Very cool. Very cool. So glad you're back up here. Uh, no, Patty's in Illinois, and you, Colette, are in the Atlanta area. So I'm not sure. Michael McClung, how are you from Maryland? How's it going? Michael, how is everything going for, how's everything going with retirement? Are you enjoying it? So that's cool. And all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working in this area. There's this beautiful dark on the bridge of her nose, and I want to start, putting that in. And then once we have that in, we can go ahead and kind of bring in the values around her. And then at that point, we can start blending, which is very cool and always a lot of fun. So very, very cool. Let me get a cough drop because my mouth is dry. Let's see. So I've been very busy with the book. I've been very busy with my students and trying to do my own work and my regular job. So life has been very, very busy. But busy is good. And the book I'm super excited about, which is nice. It's nice to be excited about something, right, guys? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up some of these brushes here and we'll go to town. So I'm still in the same place, my friend. Just a interesting background, but I'm still in that temporary place right now, and looking for more of a permanent place pretty soon because I'm working like crazy. Got so much going on. Working. And it's important to get ahead of the money situation whenever we can, if we can, right? Yes, definitely. So thanks so much, JC. So basically, the book is going really it's definitely in production. I'm working on the fourth draft, and I'm so glad I did the fourth draft because so much more information is coming that is going to help a painter, whether they're doing oils or acrylic or airbrush. It really is. It really is going to be exciting, and I'm putting my all into it. 100%, and that's important, right? To give 100% to it. So that's basically where I'm coming from. So right now I'm going to try and find this beautiful red that's on the bridge of her nose. And what I want to do is I want to mix the two colors adjacent to it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, JC. I'm looking at probably, I don't know. I I would say probably looking at around late March. I'm trying to get it to the editor, the copy editor, and have everything formatted for print by late February. And then the rest of the stuff will happen in March, and hopefully we'll get that out there. So it's interesting. Yes, thank you, Astral. That's right. Keep chipping away. And thank you, Astral. He says he's going to get it. I appreciate that. That's so cool, my friend. Thank you. I know it's going to help people, and that's the reason why I'm doing it, to make painting easier. So I'm excited about it, and I hope you all are very excited about it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So, looks like I lost my. Oh, there we go. Okay. And now with this, okay, so now let me find that color, guys. It'll be one moment. Let me close this. There we go. Now we're back in business. Okay. So let's find that beautiful red first. That dark, rich red. And I'm just going to basically do my thing. So with the system, I'm able to find exactly what's happening with that color, how I can get that color. Now, once I locate the color, then I have to go ahead and find how I'm going to mix that color. And then the final ingredient right here. Okay, so now I know how to mix that color. So I'm going to come over here. And I'm just going to mix this really quickly. So one little hint I'll give you guys, when you want to mix a color and you want to mix another color, but you don't want to be too strong with it, try mixing transparents as opposed to opaques. So a transparent version of whatever color you're mixing with that, and you just want to nudge it, try this. Try adding, um, try going ahead and adding a transparent version to that. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how the transparent just quietly nudges over there, which is very good. Hey, Bobby, great to see you. How are you, my friend? So glad you're here all the way from Cape Cod. So I have the half of the color mixture now for the next half. Making sure I'm light enough. Okay. All right, so now that I have all the elements, now I have to figure out what the percentages are. Okay, got my answer. Let's make this happen. And we want to find that target color. It's a nice feeling when you do find that target color. Okay, so we found it. Now, it's not enough for me to go ahead and just find that target color, but I want to know the color that's around her nose, the other side, right? Because I don't want to just put a hard edge. I want to work wet into wet. So now I'm going to find this lighter color over here. Wow, that's a big difference in color, but it's around the same hue, so that's good. So I know that the color is going to be around the same hue. Now, again, with that color, I'm going to find out how we mix it. This is all going to be in the book, which is exciting, within 2 months, God willing. And finally, we'll go with our final element. Very interesting. Okay, so let me go mix those. Yes, definitely. Found the spatula, exactly. So glad everyone is here. I'll get to painting in just one moment. Just have to mix these colors. And let me go ahead and find that here. And just know when you are mixing one color that might be more dominant, you probably would want to go ahead and mix a transparent for that. It'll really help you out. So I'm looking at that and it's like, it's perfect right out of the tube. And now I'll get my other element here. Okay. Okay, got my answer. Have my answer. All right. I'm going to come in with the lighter color first. Oh, cool. I'm so glad that the email got to you, my friend. I haven't been sending emails. Last week was the first live stream that I did since September. So it has been a while. Okay, now on to this area of the nose. Make sure I don't go too light here. And that's a little bit on the light side. That's more like it. Let's pull this over. I'm just after these two colors right over here. Then I'm going to come into the color on this side. Yeah, I just needed a break, I think, Tone, you know? I think it was a healthy break. But I'm glad I'm back, and I don't take all you all for granted, that's for sure. Ah, so Mr. Michael says, thank you for all of your compliments on the bear trying to get it done, animal paintings, because fur is difficult, that's for sure. So I'm just going to come in right here, bring this down. There we go. Now I could come in with that darker color, that dark on the bridge of her nose. I can bring that down. I'm going to clean my brush with some solvent. I use Nude by Utrecht. I believe this is the color. Nope, that's not the color. The color that I mixed earlier is right here. Yep, that's it. That's the color. Now I want to come in with this light color, but I have that red color right now to work wet into wet. And that's the plan, you know, working that wet into wet. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mike. I'm glad to be back, Mr. Bobby. Thank you so much. Glad to see you all on a Wednesday. I did miss you all very much. That's for sure. It's important to have clean paper towels. I used the Viva paper towels. Hey, Wendy, this is actually oils over airbrush. What was interesting is that I did the oil painting over a pencil drawing, and then from there I went ahead and put a underpainting using the Candies 2.0 from Createx, which was a lot of fun, a big learning experience, of course. And now we can come back in with that red that we had, right? That kind of beautiful red here. And now we can start working a little bit of a wet on wet technique here. And then it's always good to have a nice blender brush. And in this case, it would have to be small, right? So I pick something small, kind of blend that in, work that wet into wet technique here. Blend and then just wipe. And then just keep working that together. Rick, how you doing? Thank you so much, my friend. So glad that you're here all the way from Canada. Love my Canada friends. Just kind of working that wet into wet technique there. So now I get to go ahead and work on this area in here going into the light on the alar cartilage, the upper lateral cartilage, and up here at the nasal bone. I do have a brush dedicated to that color. Just have to find it. I think this is it. Let's see. Right here, I believe this works well. Keep me from making that nasal bones too wide. That would not be good. She would not like that. You got to be careful that you don't put paint where you don't want to, like I just did. Hey, how you doing? How's everyone? How you doing, Franz? How's everything? Great to see you. You're from the UK? Just make this a little bit brighter here. South Africa, yes, always a pleasure, Franz. Now I remember. Now we're going to go back with that blender brush, right? Now we can blend these two elements, working wet into wet. So, you know, if you're an airbrush artist, it's not a wash because basically this is exactly what I do when I'm working in oils, okay, guys? I mean, working in airbrush. It's all connected. So I'm going to lighten up right over here. So what I'll do is I'll just lighten this up just a little bit right here. Come back in with that dark. But working in that wet into wet, you have that nice control. And now we want to get the light at the alar cartilage. So I'm going to mix that up because I don't know what color that is. Actually, I think I do have it. So from earlier, from the earlier session. Let's go grab that. Yes, so we do have it, which is good. And then we can kind of blend this up a little bit, working wet into wet. One of the great things about working in oils, can oils be airbrushed? Great question. And I hear that question often. So here's the short of it, is that it can be, as long as you thin it out to consistency of ink, but it's extremely toxic. And, I haven't tried it, but every rule is meant to be broken. So, in art, at least. And so I would say there's no reason why someone couldn't try. Just make sure you have um, incredible mask and ventilation, because you're doing stuff like solvent to be airborne, which probably is not the healthiest of things. So I have the light. Now I want to get that medium color back. Just got to find that brush. There we go. I think this is our medium brush. Yeah, I mean, but I don't think that acrylic is all that much better, in the sense that you're not using solvents, but you're still using airborne pigments, which of course is made from chemicals and heavy metals. So I think painting is a dangerous thing health wise, of course. The more you do it, the more you have to be weary, right? And you guys see how working wet into wet allows me to kind of resolve things rather quickly, which is wonderful. Now you can see how the alar cartilage goes up here and then makes this kind of sharp turn, probably at a little bit less than 12 o'clock. And that's where the secret to the realism lies, right? Oils need to be well ground, else they will clog the detailed airbrush. Very true. Um, yeah, outside tone would be a good thing, that's for sure. But as long as they're thin, it's all about viscosity, right? So if it's thin enough, and like what Astral says, if it's ground enough, I would say don't spray earth tones, because they have larger particulates, and so you would probably be best off spraying things like cobalt blue or something like that, where the particle sizes are small, But you go back with them years after people using oil burners in the house. Yeah, definitely. That is interesting, Mr. Michael. Now that I have that, I see that over here, it's a little bit kind of rough here. Let me see if I could come in with this, kind of blend this out a little bit. It's a little harsh. Yes, but we spray cobalt blue all the time, right? I mean, like in Wicked, we have cobalt blue. We have cobalt blue in we have cobalt blue when we use colors such as golden, high flow. So it's we're really doing the same thing with airbrush, but with oils, it's that added thing with the solvent that's scary. And oh, you never done a portrait with paintbrush. That's cool. I know you would do amazing. You definitely would knock it out of the park. So I would love to, if you decide to do it, to coach you through it. That would be great. Here's a retro Bicularis Oculi fat pad, so I'm hitting that. Just kind of moving this over. So now I'm doing pretty good there. I'm actually going to come in and hit this with a very light color here. Hit this highlight right here. So this is the wave packet hitting the nose right here. And you also want to look at, the drawing aspect. How close is that highlight to the actual nostrils, right? And Mr. Astral says he's using a 0.2 Rich pen, and it's a beautiful airbrush, but you only use specific mediums, which in his case is FW inks, which is very thin, which is great. So they work very well, Astral. And Tone says he loves airbrushing, and he's not nearly as good with a paintbrush. It's all the same, we just have to get our arms around it, that's all. So I'm well versed in basically every medium as far as paint goes. Watercolor, airbrush, acrylic, pastel, oil paints. So I look at it in the sense that, whenever I work on a medium, I get into the mindset that that's the only medium I have. I don't have another medium to fall back on. And having that mindset keeps me from going back to the medium that I may feel more comfortable in. Oh, Patty, have a great night. Thanks so much for hanging out. And Patty says, hit that like button. Patty, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. I hope you have a wonderful weekend coming up. Tomorrow's Thursday. Mike says, Tone, he used to be the same way. He thought he would never do a portrait, and he's gotten to use some paintbrush as, yeah, you're doing amazing with the portraits. I love your portrait work. Farrah Fawcett was just incredible. Now I can go back with my blender brush here. See if we can. Now, when you blend, just like an airbrush, you want to follow the contour of whatever the light is on. Kind of feel it. Now, I love that light there, so I'm happy with it. But over here, we have a light, but it's an orangey light, right? It's different. So we have to make sure that we isolate that difference, right? So I'm going to take the same white airbrush here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in some odorless mineral spirits. Mike says it's kind of like holding that paintbrush the way you hold the airbrush. Interesting. That's cool. A lot of times when I paintbrush, I'll actually have this hand here like that. That helps. So I don't arbitrarily mix colors. The same principles I use in airbrush are the same principles that I use. Now you can see the full picture. You definitely can see, how she's shaping up. Now let me go ahead and I gotta find what I mix for that highlight there, which is not as energetic as the highlight here. The highlight over here is a lot less, has a lot less energy. So let me find that. I don't I don't throw darts at a board. I get a scientific reading of whatever it is I'm trying to paint. Okay, so I see that color and very interesting color here. Let's see. So with my system, I get a reading of what that color is. So it's an orange with some red orange into it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I know I have that in my head. It's an orange with red orange into it. I have my target color. And now I find my mixing colors to actually get that. But it's not like those programs you see out there where this is totally different. What I'm doing is science-based, hasn't to do with the nature of light on a quantum level. And now we'll come over here. And just like that, I know how to get those colors. Okay, let's make this happen. So remember, it was orange with a little bit of red orange into it. Now, red orange is really powerful, so you're going to put a tiny bit of red orange into that orange. When you do that, you get that wavelength so close, it's amazing. It's funny because I'm almost at that color just by putting it there, but there's still more to do. Remember, transparent if you want to nudge it slightly. Okay, now comes the other element. So I feel I have that color, so I'm happy with it. And now we're going to get that paintbrush that we cleaned out with the solvent. And now let's see how this works. So now we're back. Uh, Franz says, maybe one day I'll try my hand at oil painting. I would love that because I do an underpainting in airbrush, so it would be a real natural progression for you, Franz. See how I'm able to get that lower energy highlight Not all highlights are created equal. So I'm finding that this highlight is much closer than where I put it. That's going to make a big difference in her likeness. Then we come down to this part of her nose. Hey Brad, how's it going? Great to see you all the way from Canada. How you been, sir? And now it's good to come back in with that beautiful rich red that I had over there from the beginning, remember? This is that dark. Now I'll get that kind of brighter red. When in doubt, grab another brush. There we go. And this was a brighter red. I think this is pretty much it right here. Ah, thank you so much, Mr. Brad. I appreciate that. Yes, not all highlights are created equal, Mr. Astral. So true. We think of highlight, we think of a singular thing, but it really isn't, right? It's so different in different lighting situations, different parts of the body. There we go. So now I feel like that's interesting and I can come in with that highlight once again, kind of try and make that pop. And right here, it gets pretty powerful again. So I can come back to this. Right here on the edge of her alar cartilage. And then once again, just kind of bring this back and forth. And don't get fixated in one area. I really can. So I'm working hard not to, because it would be a very boring live stream if I stuck in one area. So I'm going to go back to this beautiful dark here and just kind of indicate very lightly the underplane of her nose. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. And let's soften this just a tad. There we go. Make it a little more palatable. Now that is a little bit darker. So I'll come in with this color here. Just kind of chill it out just a little bit. De-emphasizing it the right way. Now, if you ever get to, okay, I just made a boo-boo, you don't have to live with it. You can actually use these wonderful Q-tips that someone gave me, which I appreciate so much. And where was that mistake? Right here. And then I also see that some of this color is a little dead, which means we have to infuse some red. In the shadows, when the color is dead, you definitely have to use some red. Thank you so much, Mr. Franz. I appreciate that. And Astral says, wow, the highlight, just the eye just popped. Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's the beauty of this whole system, is that I'm really concentrating on light, not the beautiful girl, which is a stretch for me. So I'm just going to dither this so I get it nice and soft. I've been doing portraits since I was about 14 years old on a serious level. You'd think I would be good by now. Well, I always feel that I could do better and get better. Now it's interesting, I have a pretty hard edge right here. So I can soften this dark as it goes into the glabella and subsequently into the frontal bone. And that beautiful red, we're going to bring that back because we lost some of it. Right here, we have that beautiful red coming right here. We don't want to lose it. That's where the elegance lies. Always distracted by a beautiful woman. Yeah, they sure are a distraction. Been a distraction my whole life. So I like how I'm getting more bold with that red-orange color over here. I'm going to be brave and kind of extend this really rich red color into here. So it's softening up on its own accord, right? And Wendy says they don't distract you. That's because you're a beautiful woman yourself, Wendy. And let's see. So now I am going to find that nice highlight again. Where is that highlight brush? Mr. Gary, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Always a pleasure, all the way from Pennsylvania. Great to see you. I'm getting oil paint all over the place. The trick is to get rid of your dirty napkins because that's what really transfers the paint. So how's everything going? How was this week in football? How do you feel about it, sir? We're going to come in with that orange color again. Oh, yeah, that's a good thing. Who did they beat again, Mr. Gary? Go Patriots. Yeah, Patriots are still in it as well. You guys are both in the mix of all this. Notice that we are painting the light from the candle as it hits her. Yeah, that's true. The Bears look pretty tough this year, Mr. Tone. They look really good. That same color from here is actually making itself known right over here. So I'm bringing that highlight over here, and it's actually on the maxilla of her cheek here. Have a great night. Always a pleasure. Miss Wendy, take care. And when you're painting, whether it be airbrush or acrylic or pastels or oil, never think about the ending. Just think about the process. The ending will reveal itself when it's ready. So don't try and worry about when it's going to be done. The zoom out, you can see how she's starting to kind of come together here. Yeah, I definitely don't think the Pats are going a distance. Mr. Gary says he has confidence in them and their MVP quarterback should be a good game. Wow, that's true. Definitely should be a good game. I think the whole NFL was pretty evenly matched. There's no dominant team. Anyone could kick anyone's butt at any given Sunday. Yes, that is always the case, but I think it's more the case this year. What's interesting about the retroapicularis oculi fat pad right here, I have it straight, but it actually comes out. It bows out. So let me fix that. We need more paint. See how that bows out, guys. And it has a nice bit of chroma. Mr. Steve Leahy, how are you, my friend? What an honor. Great to see you, sir. Loving the way that if you haven't seen Mr. Leahy's painting of Tokyo, it's really coming together. I mean, scary how that really comes together and how tight it looks, you know? It's just out of this world. Yeah, any of his teams can win the Super Bowl, exactly. This year is more so than years in the past, I think. So true. So we have some high energy over here. So I'm going to paint some high energy on her frontal bone right here. Mr. Gary, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate that so much, sir. That really helps and it's very encouraging, and I definitely appreciate your encouragement, sir. Your encouragement definitely goes a long way these days. And wow, thank you. Steve says she's absolutely glowing. I appreciate that, sir. And Gary, always thank you so much. So I got some cadmium red on me, and we were talking about the dangers of pigment and heavy metals and everything like that. So I definitely should be wiping off this cadmium. So baby wipes are really good to have in the studio, whether you're working in pastels, oil, airbrush, you name it. It is very important to do that. Hey, Mr. Dave, how are you? Mr. Dave the Bug Gregory, all the way from Texas. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate that so much. The encouragement is definitely uh, appreciated, Mr. Dave. So cool. Thank you guys. That means so much. And so this is so cool. And how you doing there, Mr. Gregory? How you been? Always a pleasure, sir. I hope work's getting a little bit uh, relaxing for you. Ah, thank you, Mr. Dave says. Glad to have you back on the stream. It's good to be back, sir. That's for certain. So now I want to come in back in with that light yellow orange, that highlight, and kind of start to mix it in with this area here. But before I do that, maybe I can come in with this darker color that we established earlier. see if this is the color. Yes. So I definitely want to work in a definitely want to work in a wet into wet. So that takes some time to establish all the usual suspects when working wet into wet, getting all the colors in the next to one another. And Dave says work will slow down in a few years. Well, that's still, it's going to happen, so that's good. I look forward to that, my friend. Few years goes by really fast, doesn't it, guys? And that's what we're looking for, as Mr. Leahy said so kindly, is we're looking for that glow, right? That's so important to us. If we can get that glow, you know, because she's candlelit on this side. On this side, she's lit by a window. So it's all about light, and I like having two light sources in a sense to see how light reacts to a large light source here and how light reacts to a smaller, weaker light source here. So it's a lot of fun. Now I'm going to come in with the darkest color and kind of bring this over. So that's a deeper dark red here, which is right here. Let me see if I got that right. Maybe just a little bit off. Here we go, starting to get that deeper color right here. But you see how we have to have everything wet so we can work wet into wet. So it takes time setting it up so we can get there, you know? So I'm not going to do the full 2 hours like I used to. It's going to be an hour and a half, and that's a healthy size. We get a lot done. Hopefully, I'll inspire someone out there. That would make me happy. Nothing would make me happier. Now you see how I can work wet into wet now. And I can come in with that little blender brush that we all love. The little fan brush here. And the trick is when you're using a fan brush is you just kind of brush a couple of times and wipe because you don't want to make mud. You want to keep your colors clean. That's so crucial, you know. See how that one area is just a little bit too light. So that means I have to come in with this color here. And the trick is to find that color correctly. Kind of even that out here. And then you have the orbital ridge right here above the eyebrow. where it gets a little bit lighter. All these little subtle anatomical points are so important. Michael says that his studio is being bigger. He can welcome airbrush artists if you're in Maryland. Cool, definitely. If I'm in Maryland, I'll look you up. And Franz says a lot happened in the past 2 years for him. Now he has to pick up the slack and get a living painting. Oh, that's wonderful. Definitely. You can do it. It's not an easy task, but you can do it, sir. I have faith in you. Now back to our fan brush. Now you want to make sure you go in the right direction, just like an airbrush. You want that light to be moving in the right direction. Just even this out here. And don't get upset if you're not getting it at once, you know? It takes time sometimes to go back and forth till you get it right. Just watch how one area of color goes into another area of color. And, you know, when you're painting, you don't want it to be perfect. You know, you're always going to go back and forth, always. So just know this is just a pass. And you try and be as refined as possible, but you know you're not trying to finish the painting. You're just making a pass, getting closer. Sort of like sculpting, you know, you're chipping away at the marble that isn't her. And let's see. Steve says, "Oh, crab cakes, Michael too." And Michael says, "The crab cakes in his area voted the best in Maryland." Wow. That's really something. That's incredible. Okay. Did my live stream freeze on me? Let's see. Oh, there we are. We're still live. I thought we froze. Thank God we didn't. Here it gets a little bit darker. So I'm going to blend this over here down. And it might not be as wet as I want it. So to work wet into wet, I'm going to come back in with this color and kind of make sure I'm working wet into wet here. Now working in acrylic and brush is great because I found a way with doing more advanced wet palettes, and I want to thank Mr. Leahy for introducing me to wet palettes. But now when I'm working with acrylic, I have a whole kind of system with several wet palettes that really help in working with acrylic as a standalone medium. Oh, thanks, Steve. Steve's gonna switch devices. Now we'll come back in with our blender brush. Make sure we wipe that clean. Now, with light, which is very interesting, that it changes color very, very slowly. Always remember that it changes colors slowly. So we have to compress those colors when one goes into another. The more we do that, the more realistic everything's going to be. You know, Mr. Garcia, how are you, sir? Great to see you all the way from upstate New York. How are you? How's everything? And again, notice how I'm making those transitions from one color to the next very soft, very delicate. And that's when an artist gets more advanced, they get much more subtle. And then we have the lower eyelid, which we're going to come in. Oh, I hear you there, Chris. You're working hard. It'll pay off. It always does. Doesn't always seem that way, but it always does pay off. Wow, 583 working days. That's amazing, sir. I love to hear that. Then it's airbrushing, 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 right, sir? You and Mr. Michael will be in the same boat. So you see how I'm working down now, which is really good. But still, if I see something, I'll work that in. Astral says, Chris, delegate, delegate, delegate. See if we can pull this down here. And even here in this little area, we got to make sure the transition from that orange to that yellow orange is very slow, very subtle. Of course, I'm talking about rounded forms, right? When forms are rounded. The more rounded, the slower one color will go into the next, you know? Oh wow, don't even know if you want to stay in New York. I know the feeling being in the New York area, it's kind of losing its charm. If it wasn't for the museums, man, I'd be long gone. Now we have a little bit of a intensity shift right up here. So, and I'm going to set up the wet into wet that I'm going to start going in with the lips here. But I'm still moving back and forth a little bit from one area to another. But I have to set up that wet into wet, otherwise it wouldn't work. Hey, Mr. Steve, welcome back, sir. Let's go ahead and move this down. We'll come back in with the darks again. Sometimes you may need a bit of a solvent-free gel, which kind of will give your paint a little more fluidity. And try to make sure that you locate where one shape actually is, where it's located, which is very important. So here comes that wet into wet we're talking about now. So like I said earlier, don't be discouraged that the live stream is not in Airbrush because it's all connected, right? It definitely is. So just know that all of this is connected. That the same problems that you will face in Airbrush, I'm going over with now. And I think it's good to say to kind of try and stick in one area when you're painting. Um, to some extent, right? I'm still moving around a little bit, but I'm staying in one area. I'm not bouncing around too much. And Astral says, what am I listening to? You guys hear some feedback or something? Oh, Chris says, younger art school me always said that he would never leave for that reason, but the way people are right now, he's thinking about it. Yeah, there's a lot of very relaxing places that you can just, set up your studio and paint, right? So definitely follow your bliss, my friend. You deserve it. Now we have that rich red that's over here. That's actually on the mentalis, right? And the mental fat compartment over here. So we're going to come back. So it's all kind of related to one another. And I love that. This deeper dark red right here. Kind of bouncing off. And then each time that I'm going back and forth, I'm refining more and more. things are getting more and more refined. So you can see how she's shaping up, you know? It's the sense of light. Oh, we both have headphones on. Right now I'm listening to you guys, but lately I've been listening to uh, Franz Liszt. I believe he was a 19th century German composer. I'm really loving his stuff right now. But there's a group that I'm listening right now, Toxic. Let's see, what would that be? This is a really good band if I could find it. Let's see, go here. Oh yeah, the Airborne Toxic Event. Those guys are really good. I really enjoy that band. Have you guys heard of that band? The Airborne Toxic Event? I just discovered them and I'm really nuts about them. Oh, you know what that is? I have Curb Your Enthusiasm in the other room on TV. Oh, Franz, have a great night, sir. We're only here for another 8 minutes, so thank you so much for hanging out. I hope to see you next Wednesday. I'm going to make it, you know, back to a regular thing, God willing. So thank you, my friend. Hope to see you soon. So, yeah, I'm going to limit the live streams to an hour and a half. When I get more energy, maybe we'll push it up to, but this way you guys don't get fatigued with a long live stream. Maybe an hour and a half is the sweet spot. But you see how I'm coming in with that wet, it's like when everything is wet, that's when things start to fall into place, guys. And believe it or not, we're just getting out of the underpainting stage. So this painting is called Disappointment, and it's a personal uh, painting, but the it's just a very interesting name, but there's a story behind it. But now you know the name, you can probably start understanding the expression that she has on her face. Spell check will always get us in trouble, sir. So, Mr. Mr. Steve, I have a question for you to end our night, if you don't mind. That question is, would you consider doing paintbrush technique paintings in acrylic, since you've been working in acrylic, or would you stick with gouache? Because I know you're well versed in gouache. Love to hear your thoughts, sir. I'm going to come in and kind of hit this red, so when I hit the dark, it'll be a lot more translucent over here. Maybe that would be a good for your soapbox on your. Yes, put that on your soapbox, Steve, for your next Wednesday night. That would be good for everyone. So again, even though we want to make sure that we understand what light is doing, and when it goes into one color, it's very subtle and very slow. She's rounded, so when we go from one color into the next, it has to be very slow, very subtle, right? It's so important. See how slow, once I start making that slow and those transitions very subtle, things start working out and they start looking right. Oh, Mr. Leahy says 100% more comfortable with acrylic now, but he misses gouache. And he sees artists that are so good at gouache that it makes him want to use it again. Yeah, I feel you. I see a lot of gouache painters, and they're just fantastic. And they work in these little notebooks, and that just makes it even more impressive, doesn't it? They're always on the go. And I like how they're free to use. But now, with the advent of all of these mediums that acrylic paints have, it probably would be even more attractive. There's gel mediums and matte mediums. There are heavy, heavy gel mediums, stuff for impasto, you know. So Mr. Dave says, why do I paint? No need to answer tonight. Question I'm asking myself with many things later. Why do I? It's interesting. There is this one line in this movie by Martin Scorsese. It's a short movie with Nick Nolte, and it's from the New York Stories. And basically, he says, which is, you paint because you have to. It's about no choice but to do it. And I feel that way. I have no choice, you know. And that would be my answer every time, is that there's no choice. I also say that art is a jealous mistress. And it's so true, because now I'm writing the book and I have to spend a lot of hours writing the book, but painting is always pulling me. It's always grabbing me. And oh, thank you, Steve. It's always grabbing me. And no matter what else I'm doing, that jealous mistress is always pulling me. So it's not even like a conscious thing. It's just this thing that's been gnawing at me since I was first a conscious mind when I was little. So it is kind of a weird thing. And so Steve says that the smell of gouache is so nostalgic to me. That's the way I am with oil paint, right? When I smell that linseed oil. When I had COVID last year and I couldn't smell, the thing I wanted to smell most, Steve, was the oil paint. So I know exactly about, your first medium, how that scent, is so important. And Mr. Astral says he used to let his gouache age. Used to let his gouache and mix them wet to get interesting effects, and then let his imaginations go to heaven and back. That is so cool. Well, guys, we hit 11 o'clock, an hour and a half. I know it seems abbreviated now because I used to do 2 hours. But everyone, thanks so much. Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Thank you so much, Mr. Gary, for the super chats. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate your time and everyone. I really, really, really am so happy. Good to see Tone and Astral and Bobby and Gary and Mr. Kyle and Wendy and Colette and Patty and let's see who else I didn't. Oh, Mr. Brad, Mr. Michael. You guys are all so fantastic. I don't. Oh, we got Mr. Rick Lotta from Canada, and we also have JC. Always a pleasure. You guys are all so amazing. And Franz, thank you. Make sure I got everyone because everyone is so important here. And of course, Bobby and Mr. Dave and Steve and everybody. Oh, and Mr. Chris Garcia, thank you so much for being here as well. If I did miss anybody, I do apologize. Astral, you're great. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next Wednesday, God willing. Take care, and thanks for making my Wednesday night memorable.